Bye. Okay, so Hubs is off running errands today, leaving me here to work at home. So I'm giving you a walkabout, a holiday walkabout, though it doesn't feel very wintry or holiday-ish at all. Yesterday, it got up to almost 80, didn't it, Stuart? Today, I think it's supposed to get up to 74. We're still waiting for that first freeze. It's still very dry. I've mentioned that before, but I mention it again because I want to give you guys a shout out. When I asked about what weather was doing in your part of the country or your part of the world, I could not believe how great you guys responded. I was just overwhelmed, and believe me, I don't always comment or whatever, but I read every one of those, and it so helps me realize what's really how things are changing and what's going on in other people's areas and other people's zones. And I hope you guys will read each other's comments because it is just invaluable information if you want to know what other gardeners in your area and in your zone are doing. So thank you for that, and make sure to stay tuned to the end, because just when I said not many people send Christmas cards, I got 3 in the past 2 days or 3 days from several of you, and I'll give a shout out to you guys at the end. So thank you for that. My question for today is, first of all, do you put up a real tree or do you put up an artificial tree? And no judgment here, because I know so many people have to put up an artificial tree. If you do, why do you do it? Because is it more convenient? Is it because it's just family tradition? Is it because you've got allergies? Just why is it? I put up a real tree every year because I just have to have the fragrance, though every year my tree is getting a little bit smaller. And actually later this afternoon, Stuart, you want to go with me to get a Christmas tree? We'll take you to where I get a Christmas tree. And so every year it kind of changes, but I'm curious to know. And some of you, again, no judgment here, you may not put up a Christmas tree at all. And over time, my idea about that has changed. I like my trees to be much simpler with less ornaments and just a little bit more streamlined, a little bit maybe more Scandinavian or something. So anyhow, give me your Christmas tree protocol for what you do at your house at the holidays, because I really want to know. So then let's just do a little bit of a walkabout. Stuart, first of all, if you don't mind turning around and showing everybody that I did get my wreaths up, and they need a little bit of adjusting, but they're up, all the lights are working. Look at the pretty butterfly. There should not be butterflies this time of year, I don't think. I've also seen whitefly and wasps, because we still have not had a hard freeze. But I love my lights at Christmas time. I think the red bows really stand out and really pop against my brick, especially this time of day when everything's washed out from the south sun. The brick and even my roof and everything looks very washed out. So it's, I think it's, I like the way it looks. Okay, so over here now, I know a lot of people clean up all of their leaves and they compost them, they put them in the landfill, whatever they do with them. In the front yard, this is what I do. I just blow all of the leaves off the turf, which is how also I take care of the turf. I just blow them into the flower beds because they really need to be mulched for a couple of different reasons. All of this leafy debris provides a natural mulch which breaks down somewhat over the winter time, but I also like it because it helps keep the moisture in. I've watered really, really well. Then I blow the leaves on top, so it helps retain the moisture. And the other thing that it does is protect any little tender seedlings. Once it does get cold, I want the ground to remain cold so my bulbs don't come up prematurely. So that way the ground isn't exposed to this hot western sun and I don't get as much frost heave and things like that when the temperatures get inordinately warm. So that's kind of what I do. I also do it, and I don't really mind, even though in some locations, like down the street at my friend Tommy and Sydney's, their pansies are looking absolutely unbelievable right now. Just really, really beautiful. They're planted very densely. Mine are spread out a little bit more, and I don't really care if they put on any kind of show over the winter. I just want them to get a foothold for spring, so that in spring they're ready to rock and roll. I also blow these leaves because, boy, the pansies have really been drying out, and this leafy cover will help keep moisture in. Now, Stuart, if you don't mind coming over here, I want to show a couple of things. So most of my pansies look pretty good, but look here. I've got some pansies. Let me get around on this side. I've got some pansies here, Stuart. And look, I've got a pansy here that is just completely dried out and desiccated. So what is this? I call them indicator plants. And this is an indication from me that my sprinkler system is not hitting these and that no water is getting to this area. So it's probably because one of these boxwoods or something is in the way, and I need to reassess that and rethink that for next year. So I can do a couple of things. What I'll probably do right now is, because these, I don't want to have to be a slave to watering all winter, so I'll probably just move those two back a little bit to where the sprinkler hits. So that's just a pretty common answer to that. These are what I call indicator plants. They're indicating to me that something is wrong in the exposure or the sprinkler system or something like that. In poker, Stuart, would you call that a tell? You'd call it a tell. Stuart is a really good poker player. So in poker, we would call that a tell. So I look for these kind of tells around my garden. There's some here, and then I've also noticed down here, right along the curb, street side, this looks very messy, and some of these also are pretty dried out. So what I think I'll do, instead of trying to get water to them, I'm just gonna move these pansies. I've watered them by hand, and I'm just gonna move these pansies to an area that I know will get saturated more completely and isn't, because this is a pretty far distance. Stuart, if you don't mind showing where the house is, this is all the way out to the curb. So then if I want to hand water these, I've got to drag my hose all the way out to here. And even though I've got one of those wonderful giraffe retractable hose reels, it's still kind of a pain to have to get it all the way out here. And by the way, so many of you are asking about those giraffe hose reels and some of the other things that I recommend. I'm not doing a sales pitch here. I'm just telling you that we'll put a link above or in the description below, or just go to lindavater.com, sign up, and you can go to shop, and my Christmas list will be there with all of my favorite products that we're adding to regularly, and all of the links, so you'll know. These are products that are tried and true that I really love. So that's kind of what's going on in here. Now, even though I'm a little bit worried because it's so warm, let me show you. Let's go this way. Stuart, if you'll just kind of pan the flower beds, look at how happy all of the things that have self-seeded are. Look at that columbine. Unbelievable. Hellebores that have self-seeded over here. And boy, is it going to be an absolutely spectacular foxglove year next season, because look at all this foxglove. Hello, Mr. Squirrel. Okay, you want to know something that really irritates me, Stuart? How those squirrels were eating all of my pumpkins when I had them out on display. Now that I've got them in the compost pile and they can feed on them to their heart's content, they're not paying any attention to them. And now I want them to feed on them so they'll break down. At any rate, here is a lot of that foxglove. You can see there's golden feverfew here. There's more hellebores. And then over in here, you could see the pansies are just kind of in a drift. I've showed you this before. But I mean, this is how warm it's been, you guys. It feels like spring. My encore azaleas are really doing great. Look at these that still have blooms on them, Stuart. Isn't that a gorgeous pink? I just really think that's beautiful. But this is a surprise to me, maybe because they're a little bit more mature. But notice how on those encores, the foliage is changing, that beautiful fall color. And I imagine that the more mature they get, the better the coloration will be. These have buds on them. So do these. I think this is really going to be beautiful next spring. But look at all of these foxglove. I seeded all of these foxglove. These are all new seedlings from this year. So obviously I'll divide some of these. I might even put some in pots. Look at the buds on here. But I'm going to have a brilliant stand of foxglove next year. They should be really incredible. And again, they're not just concentrated here. I've got foxglove that are everywhere through these flower beds. So it may look a little bit scruffy with all of the different kinds of things coming and going, but I promise you it will be worth putting up with a little bit of scruffiness now for it to be absolutely breathtaking next spring, or at least that's how it looks in my imagination. So up on the front porch, you can hear everybody is working out in their yard. I just want to show you that all the topiary, we still haven't had a hard freeze. So I brought the topiary, my myrtle topiaries in anticipation that it was going to freeze. It didn't. I don't see a freeze anywhere in the forecast. So believe me, they're much happier being outside. And I decided to give them all a vacation, or at least my large ones, here on this south facing wall. So they're happy here. And it's not exactly part of my landscape, but as long as they're happy, that means the amount of time that they'll be indoors will be even less than it normally is. So they'll be that stressed for a shorter amount of time. So all of these are just out here temporarily. I just had to water my window box again, all of this stuff because it's been so dry. Here's a tease, you guys. I've got all of these jade starts that I'm going to take over to my friend Phil, who's going to teach us how, once he gets his holiday decor up and gets organized, he's going to teach us how to bonsai these. So that's really fun. And let me show you maybe one more thing up here before we go to the back, and I want to show you what's going on there. Look at that gorgeous, that purple, isn't it beautiful? And there, I can just practically hear the roots growing of all of those hyacinths. All of these hyacinths were from Breck's bulbs this year. But what I want to show you is that this is one of my urns from my QVC collection, the English Garden urn. I think there might still be some available. Go to the Linda Vater Home Collection on QVC.com. That we'll put a link above. And by the way, if you go to my page and it just shows lanterns, something is awry with their link right now. Just plug in my name again and you'll get to what products still remain. But I love this, and this is going to be what I put my little Christmas tree in. And I think it'll be absolutely beautiful on a pedestal in my living room. So I've been looking forward to doing that all year. Also, my QVC autumns, there'll be a link on my Christmas list. So make sure you guys go there. And I know a lot of stuff is sold out, but some of it is being restocked. So check it out and see. So that is what's going on in the front yard. I'm excited because I just have a few more things to do, and then I'm going to put it all to bed. So now let's go to the backyard. So my driveway is still kind of a mess. Lots of Christmas elving going on here. Is Christmas elving a verb, I guess? Anyhow, all of these pots, pretty much the bulbs that I have remaining to plant are all going to be in containers, and I'm going to pot up all of these containers. And if you guys want a lightweight liner, let's say you've got a cash po or something, or you want a liner maybe for one of my baskets from QVC or something, then I get these just basket liners off of Amazon, and there's different brands and there's different types or whatever. Some will fit one container better than another, but you can put those in there and you'll have something lightweight that will kind of form fit whatever your container is. So that's on my to-do list this weekend. I've still got plenty of time left to get all of these in. One thing I'm kind of concerned about is if our winters are going to be this warm at the front end, I might need to consider starting to chill my bulbs or getting them pre-chilled from Brex or Color Blends, wherever I get them from, before they mail them to me if we're starting to transition into a warmer zone. So it's something I'm just kind of thinking about. So this is on my to-do list for this weekend. But now I want to show you some things that are really, they're so much more intense color-wise in the backyard. So let's go to the backyard. So look here, I think it's just so spectacular. Look at the barberry there, Stuart, and then look up behind it at the almost exact coloration in that Bradford pear. Not one of my favorite trees, nevertheless, it does color beautifully.
Blue sky.
Oh, with the blue sky, it really looks beautiful. And if you don't mind swinging around over here, you can see the barberry on this side. This is both orange rocket barberry and some golden barberry. And barberry, I have noticed changes. It's kind of like, you know, all maples don't color exactly the same color. Well, all the barberries, I'm kind of not really sure what I'm gonna get. But recently, I did a flower arrangement and used some of the cuttings from this barberry. They're a little bit past that now because they're about to lose their leaves. But I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at it from that direction, Stuart, how pretty it looks. Now they're getting a little bit large, so what I'll do, right now I want them to be large and pendulous and arching like that. They practically glow, I think. And from my kitchen window up that way, looking back through here, the view is just spectacular. So what I think I'll do is just let them all just kind of do their thing right now. And then look at that color of red and purple and gold. It's really just lovely. So I'll let them grow, do their thing, and then probably what I'll do is in the spring, I'll cut them back pretty hard and they won't be so twiggy or so thorny, and their size will be a little bit more manageable. But I love the way this blousiness and arching canes and looseness looks against this tidy Blue Point juniper bulb that was just a topiary that I started from scratch. I've told you guys a million times. I've still got some of these topiaries. They're still out here, and you know what? They're going to stay out here until we've got a freeze on the horizon. And I've pretty much, I am getting ready to put everything to bed back here. I still have some watering to do today, and I'm going to water everything in real well. I finished planting all of my Brex bulbs and everything in this area, and then I've got some more bulbs in pots that I'm going to plant back in here, and I've got some hyacinths and a few things I'm going to plant in this wine trough. So I'm kind of excited about that. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this bay topiary a lot closer to the house, because I'll be using some of its foliage in Christmas decorating and in cooking and things of that nature. Plus it's not cold hardy, and I'm going to want to bring it in. Another thing that I did, I mentioned it in one of my Instagram posts, Instagram stories, and if you're not following me on Instagram, just Google my name and Potager blog will come up. I added additional, doesn't look very attractive right now, but I added additional drip line in here so I would get a lot better coverage than I've had in the past. And I even put it on the exterior of the boxwood. And let me tell you, I just have really, really itchy fingers to get this pruned and in shape again, but I just can't. So I'm just having to be patient. So you guys, please help me with that. So I think stuff looks, it looks pretty good. It's still kind of messy. I've got some more work to do back here, but you know, that's okay. It's winter time. It's all right for stuff to not look great. And then let's go, can we go over here, Stuart, where it's in the shade a little bit more, because I want to give a shout out to some of you guys who sent me the sweetest cards. And I'm not showing these really to get more of you to send me cards. It's just such a gesture of kindness. So Diane Jones in North Ridgeville, Ohio, sent me just a sweet card, sweet Christmas card. And what I love is the personal notes and expressions of just gratitude and gardening camaraderie, where they tell me about what's going on in their area. This is from Julie Mangold in Westchester, Iowa. Love her stamps. My husband was really eyeing those stamps. That was kind of fun. And she sent a fun card. And look at this, I love this. She sent me a picture of what she did just with a singular branch. She said she was inspired by my singular branch. And she too wrote just a lovely, lovely note. So thank you, Julie. And then Deborah Ryan. Deborah might be one of my longest followers. Deborah, are you one of my longest followers or just most dedicated followers? I'm not sure, from Freedom, Pennsylvania. And she sent me I love this card. I think it's just very, very dear. And she just sent me some really fun things and a fun note. Love her handwriting. So I want to give a shout out and say a big thank you and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever, Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you're celebrating. I want to wish all of you that as we continue through the holiday seasons, because as my sweet dad said, I'll close on this very sentimental, nostalgic note. When he was at the end of his life and he was in assisted living, he was wondering where everyone was. He said, it's Christmas. He said, it's Christmas. Where is everyone? Well, I come from a very, very large family, and obviously for the entirety of most of his life, there were always lots and lots of people around, lots of kids and their friends and my mom. Well, not so much when he was in assisted living, and he was trying to convey to us just what he meant. And finally, we said, well, Christmas isn't, for another 2 weeks, or Christmas isn't for another week, or whatever. I said, it's not Christmas yet. That's why not everyone is here. And he said, but he said, Christmas is a series. Christmas isn't just a day, it's a series. And I loved that. And I thought, yeah, he's right. It's not just a day, it's a season, it's a series. It's a series of things you do with their loved ones. And he was missing his loved ones at that point in time. And I am missing him right now. So there you go. Happy holidays. I hope you enjoyed this little walk around. Let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods. And most of all, make sure to answer my question of the day. Are you artificial or real when it comes to your Christmas tree? See you guys later. Well, I just finished my workout. It always feels so good to be done with it, but I still have my workout clothes on before I change to go run my errands. So my top I've had for years. I got this at Target. I like it because it zips up and down from the front and I don't have to put it over my head. My earrings are these sweet little star earrings. They're much smaller than I normally wear, and I got these at Altered State many, many years ago, and I really like them. My breeches are the Zaia, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, active. These were recommended by my trainer, and you guys have seen these before, and the top I have underneath it is also by them, and I've just got on Puma tennis shoes. So nothing fancy going on here today. Such as it is, there is my outfit du jour.